Alrighty, so today on the channel, I want to talk about Black Myth Wukong, because really, this game has kind of been embroiled in controversy for quite a while now. It kind of started at the tail end of 2023, where some journalists made some interesting reports and claims about the developers of Black Myth Wukong, accusing them of certain acts and certain things that ended up being not true. Now, did any of these people apologize or make a updated statement on it? Not that I ever saw. People just ended up turning off their Twitter accounts for a couple of days once people saw these old articles until the heat died down, because who needs accountability when you could just turn off people's ability to remember you, right? Right. Now, Black Myth Wukong is coming out on August 20th, so a couple of days from now. It will be coming out on PC and PlayStation 5. Now, that in itself is a problem as well. That's been kind of a controversy because, well, where's the Xbox version of the game? It would make sense for this to be a multi-platform game, as it was never announced as just a game simply releasing on PlayStation as a console exclusive. Now, we have seen PlayStation get consoles exclusives with other companies, such as, Square Enix, so it's not outside of the realm of possibility for that to happen. But Black Myth Wukong is indeed supposed to be coming to Xbox as well, just at a later date. It seemed like there were some development problems with the Xbox build of the game, which, for smaller titles, for some other titles like Capcom MT Framework games, that's why a lot of those games don't end up on Xbox, like the upcoming Marvel Fighting Games collection, because there's a fundamental problem with bringing those games onto Xbox's platform because of the development engine being used to create these games. Whereas with PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch, it's not a problem, and they could put those games on the platform. Notice I said PlayStation 4 because this is a thing that does affect PlayStation 5. But all of that being said, there's obviously been quite a lot of buzz about this game, quite a lot of controversy, quite a lot of misquoting, and now the game is almost here. Like I said, it comes out on August 20th, and reviews went up for this game yesterday. Now, reviews were pretty positive for this game. I believe it's sitting at like an 83-ish over on Metacritic, which is very strong for a game of this caliber. People seem to enjoy the graphical style of the game, that Souls-like gameplay that I'm not a huge fan of, but there are some deviations to the Souls-like stuff, so I might end up checking this game out at the end of the day because, well, I haven't really played much on my PlayStation 5 or Xbox. So I was excited to see that these reviews seemed to be mostly positive. There were some issues with tech issues, basically some sort of weird glitches and stuff like that, but hey, it happens in these bigger scale games. Welcome to modern gaming. But we do have a problem with all of this. And the problem is, all of these reviews were done on the PC version of the game. There were no PlayStation 5 codes given out for reviewers to play the PlayStation 5 version. Now, immediately you would probably think, well, that's not a big deal. There's lots of games that have done that, and, maybe the PC version is just better. But I can't help but remember a certain situation that I ended up catching a lot of heat for questioning, well, where is the gameplay footage for this version of a game running on a console? Because everything that had been shown was a PC game, and that game, of course, was Cyberpunk 2077. I simply asked a question: where is the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One gameplay footage of this game? I feel like we should have seen it by now. Why is everyone just talking about the PC version of the game? Not to diminish the PC audience or anything like that. I just prefer to play on consoles, and we really mostly only talk about console-related stuff on this channel. People got extremely mad at me. They downvoted me into oblivion. How dare you? How dare you? I think it was like 30% positive, 70% negative when it came to the thumbs up and the thumbs down, but I didn't really care. I was just asking a simple question. And what ended up happening with that game? Specifically, the console versions of that game. Did they launch in a pristine state that was definitely indicative of the PC build that we had seen and people had been talking about and previewing? No. What about Redfall? Remember Redfall, where all those people, those Xbox influencers, were flown out to play Redfall early and everyone was like, wow, this game is awesome. They also played that on a PC. They played the PC build of that game, not on an Xbox. Now, to say that Redfall was awesome is kind of weird to begin with, but I think it could have been a hell of a lot better and a bit more enjoyable as a Game Pass game had they actually been able to play the Xbox version of the game, which did not perform nearly as well as the PC version did. So am I saying that this is the case with Black Myth Wukong? Not necessarily. You know, it could have been something simply like, hey, we didn't get PlayStation 5 review copies in, even though that doesn't really make much sense, but I do think it is a bit suspicious that we haven't seen any of the PlayStation 5 footage of this game. Now, I saw a lot of people kind of commenting something throughout different discussions about this on places like Twitter and stuff, and a lot of people were saying, well, it runs fine on Steam Deck, so, you know, a PS5 is more powerful than a Steam Deck, so there shouldn't really be an issue. But that's a flawed logic, in my opinion, because the Steam Deck version of the game is still the PC version of the game. You're just playing it on a lower spec PC that you could put in the palm of your hand. It's still the exact same game. You're probably just not able to get as good of performance as you would on a, you know, a 4080 or something like that, and be able to get things like, you know, Ultra HD, super widescreen graphics and all that crap. It's still fundamentally coded as the exact same game. So I don't think that that's a fair comparison to make to the PlayStation 5 version of Black Myth Wukong. The only question I have is, why the secrecy around this? Like, it doesn't make sense for this to just be completely ignored, considering that I think a lot of PlayStation 5 owners are looking forward to this game because of the fact that Sony, you know, they're not really pumping out a whole bunch of first-party stuff this year. Yes, Astro Bot looks phenomenal. Yes, Concord exists. Until Dawn remake is $60, which is absolutely ridiculous. I saw it was $60. What did I say? I said if it was 40 or less, I would buy it. I'm not paying $60 for that game. Sony, you can go to hell for that. I should have made a video on that. But like Black Myth Wukong, like, I don't know. Something just kind of stinks about it. And it could be, you know, I'm not saying that you shouldn't buy the PlayStation 5 version of the game, because it could end up being fine. And it could just all have been a giant misunderstanding. And I do like the aesthetic of the game. As you guys are well aware, I am a fan of monkeys and apes and Planet of the Apes. And this gives me Planet of the Ape vibes with the characters, because they look like monkey men. I remember when I was a little kid at church that there was this guy who looked like a monkey, and I used to call him Monkey Man, and my mom would like pinch me on the leg. She'd be like, stop it, don't call him Monkey Man. Because I just thought the dude looked like a monkey, but I don't know. It's one of those situations where I feel like a lot of people have been burned by games like Redfall, burned by games like Cyberpunk, where the PC version of the game ended up being almost a completely different version in terms of the quality that ended up releasing comparative to the console version of the game. So, I mean, worst thing you could do, I guess, is kind of just wait a little bit. Like, you don't have to wait very long. By the time you're watching this video, you're watching it on Saturday, which is the 17th. And like I said, the game comes out on the 20th. So sooner rather than later, we're going to have answers to all of these sorts of questions. But you got to wonder, why do the questions exist in the first place? Why the secrecy? Are there problems with this game? If so, does it need a delay? Are you going to try to patch it into oblivion? Is this going to be a case of Cyberpunk 2077, where for some reason, gamers just gave them a pass, you know, even though PlayStation removed it off of their storefront and the game, you know, dropped dramatically in price? Like, oh, well, you know, it's okay. They eventually fixed it. You know, sorry you paid $60 for this game, but they eventually fixed it. So isn't that good enough? I don't know. Maybe that's why the industry's kind of in the shitter like it is now. But these are just my thoughts. You know, I'm not saying that it's going to stink on PlayStation 5, but I am going to bring up the question as to why the secrecy? Why is this so hidden? And is it because there is a problem? And if there is a problem, why not just say, hey, you know what? We might need to delay the PlayStation 5 version a little bit. You're obviously having some sort of issue with Xbox hardware. Could this be also affecting PlayStation? These are simply just questions, though. I do hope the game ends up being really good. The reviews look really positive for it. I'm sure I won't like it because it's a Souls game, but I'm going to try it out anyways. You know, I like to try out these Souls games because I feel like at some point in time, one of these Souls games is going to click with me. And I'm going to be like, this is awesome. And I love this. You know, it happened with roguelikes. You know, as much as I dog roguelikes, that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles roguelike that I checked out, it was Ninja Turtles. So maybe they need to make a Ninja Turtles Souls-like game. And then I would be into it. But how would you do that? If all the foot soldiers had like really elongated life bars? Anyways, I'm just rambling. What do you think about the Black Myth Wukong situation? Do you think that there are troubles in paradise, that there's something going on with this? Or is it simply a case of, for whatever reason, they're not showcasing the PlayStation 5 version? And if that is the case, why are they doing that? And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, comment, share, hit the bell as well. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.